right? So how do you change your environment? Again, if you're surrounded by a company that does not inspire you, how would you recommend that people change their environment to, again, break out of a mold and eventually fire up their brains again, and not just let it become useless
I love
by
that.
not doing anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, first, let's validate everyone who feels it's hard, because it is hard. If no one around you, if your parents, and this specifically happens to a lot of people with a lot of firepower, when, it's just statistically unlikely that others around you also have the same amount of firepower. It's hard to find someone who's done something with it. That's what I went with the mechanics. And so you might need to find a mechanic from history, and so, like, that used to be the thing. Like, autobiographies used to be a thing that inspired people who were living a life where no one else exemplified the things they could become, but you read about it. So there's a wonderful guy, Robert Rosenkranz, who's become a billionaire in his life. We just had a chat about the book is called The Stoic Capitalist, and he says this is what he was doing at age 10, reading, how did Rockefeller become who he did, and he read it like a how-to manual, right? So some people answer it this way, but hey, it's 2025. Like, so this, like, it's easier today to reach out and create these parasocial relationships, right? Like, it is absolutely, like, you can email the two of us and we'll respond. Like, that's how we connect. Like, the world is much more
Yeah.
open today than it is 20, 30, 100 years ago. So again, like, there is no real excuse. But what tends to happen is people, they try it a couple of times, right? And maybe they try it the wrong way. Maybe they had a really cringy email, or they send it at a time when someone didn't respond, or they send it to an asshat who said, I don't care. And then they say, I can't
Yeah.
do this. Not like another post that I've written that I really stand behind is, you should think of everything as a chain of no's. Like, everything's a no. Like, nothing, if it's easy, if it's an instant yes, it doesn't matter. Like, everyone has it. You probably want something that's behind a door, a hallway with just an unknowable amount of doors that say nope, right? And you have to bang on all of them until one says yes, and then all the no's don't matter. A lot of people give up at that stage where there's like, well, I didn't find my people. How hard did you try? No one said
Yeah.
it's easy. No one said it's the first 50 people. Maybe you have to move 3 times. Maybe you have to join a cult online. Maybe you have to start becoming a K-pop Demon Hunter fan, right? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe you have to leave Reddit, join Reddit, find someone on
Mhm.
Twitch, start live streaming yourself. Like, again, we're not entitled to the outcome. We're entitled to the work, but the work gives you the outcome. So if you want to find someone to emulate, there's no excuse in 2025. But again, I do want to validate everyone who feels it's hard, because it is hard. It's not, if it was easy, if it's the first door that says yes, everyone would have them. And that's why it makes such a difference, because it is hard. Requires work to get there.
Exactly. Yeah. So pretty much what you're saying is try and find a community that you resonate with, and that community, obviously, ideally, should be able to push you and challenge you. And obviously, in 2025, we have the online world, right? And there's a bunch of online communities everywhere. So by reaching out and taking responsibility for it, it can definitely inspire you to do better. Now, something else that I've also found is that moving to a different city or a different, I guess, state in the US. Over here in Canada, it's like a different province.
Mm.
Moving to a completely different location kind of forces you to grow, right? Now, you just have to have that, I guess, strength to take that first step. But for me personally, I found that extremely useful as well, because again, you can be inspired, but if the people around you are just not giving you the energy that you want, you can be the most motivated person in the world. Like, we are a creature of our environment, right? So no matter how motivated you are, if the people around you are
Yes.
kind of downers, like,
Yes.
it's not going to work out. So like, it's
No.
oftentimes it's just best to change locations. I mean, that's just, again, in my opinion, right? Because that's been really helpful to me. So I guess people can also look into that if they really
I
want
agree.
to make a change
And these are
quite
drastic
drastically.
things. Yeah. And again, if you want that
Yeah.
change, right? And if you, there's one strand of thinking that might be helpful, that some people
Hmm.
say that we're the average of the 5 people closest to us. They're not entirely wrong, right? Like, and the reason is, like, you become what you think. And if everyone around you is thinking negative things, what's the likelihood of you being celebrated for thinking positive things, right? So again, the crab bucket mentality is real, right? Like, misery does love company, and sometimes the move for you is to change that company. It's hard, it's not easy, it's not fun, But again, like if someone is like the Dementor from Harry Potter, who's the idiot? Like you, who seeks the company of all of these people that essentially are just emotional black holes and make you dumber, or them. Like you can't change them, but you can change who you hang out with. But I said it's hard. It's not. We make it sound easy. Moving is incredibly hard. People don't have money for it. You uproot everything. But if you think of like for example, like drugs, one of the most important feature and kind of enabler of someone's drug habit is that they know who to get it from. Just like that. Like someone's life can change just by moving 100 miles and wanting to become a person, making it that much more difficult for you, gives you a little bit more time. You don't get to know the local pusher. There's no one around you, shooting it up, and you stop for long enough to make that the habit, right? So like, and you see, like suddenly you've explained why the these treatments work, where you take celebrities out into a mansion for 2 months, and then they stop, right? Because like you change the
Mm-hmm.
context. You change
Yeah.
the context. Ayahuasca retreats wouldn't work as well if you do it in your in your backyard. Now, if you go to the Costa Rican center for it, it kicks harder. If you go to the Colombian rainforest for it, it kicks even harder. So like the context
Hmm.
does matter for whatever transformations we want out of ourselves.